There are lots of screenshots of me right now. Oh my God, who made that slide? Not me. Unlike television, you can tell it's not me. I would have like at least kept the lips or something, but you know. Unlike television, the mechanics of Periscope are really simple. You guys know that. You open the app, you tap a button, and you start streaming from your phone straight away. You don't need studio lights. You don't need expensive cameras. You don't even need a cameraman or a director shouting action. From the viewer's perspective, it's even more simple. They can watch wherever they are, whenever they like, and during whatever they're doing. My viewers include a firefighter from New York, a factory worker from South India, a student from London, a nurse from Florida, a teacher from Germany, a single mother from Brazil, a TV producer from Hollywood, and even, check this out, a former heavyweight boxing champion of the world. When he came into my scope, I was like, OMG, and then I just relaxed. What brings all of these people at the same time together into this one scope? I'm going to be really honest with you, I am still trying to figure that one out myself. Could it just be that, you know, these guys are early adopters of another cool social media platform? Is it because Periscope is so easy to use? Is it because data is becoming cheaper? Or our phone screens are getting bigger? Or is it because it's real time and we've got this two-way interaction? I can tell you that I definitely don't have the answer, and it could be a combination of all of those factors, or in fact, it could be none of the above. For me, what works on Periscope and why these people all come together is literally due to this human connection and this feeling that I've never felt before. It is so real, so raw, so live, so authentic, unfiltered, unedited. What we're watching is literally just real life. Ladies and gentlemen, this leads me to the very first lesson that I've learned on Periscope, and that is the power to inspire. Okay, so this is a bizarre screenshot. It's from last week. This is a screenshot of me from a scope that I did last week. It's me in this awful non-designer hospital gown at UCSF with a skin cancer specialist. And recently I've been worried about skin cancer because I've noticed moles and some skin changing in that kind of different skin patches. Of course I was initially reluctant to do a scope like that and broadcast a consultation. Why wouldn't I be? As a patient, this is a very deeply private affair. Even as a news anchor, I've always told the story and I've never been the story. So why did I decide to Periscope it, and what did I learn? I overcame my own fears by making it seem like there was nothing wrong or nothing special about seeing a skin cancer specialist, like it was any other routine checkup, like going to the dentist or going to the optician. I wanted to, for my viewers, demystify that experience. I wanted them to meet the doctor. I wanted them to see what the clinic looked like. I even wanted them to see the biopsy equipment. I know, I was freaked out by that, but after looking at it with like 300-400 people, it kind of helped me to say, okay, this is biopsy equipment, everything's gonna be okay. I was really moved by what one viewer said to me. After seeing this scope, I'm not as scared anymore. I'm going to be booking my skin cancer appointment this week. I've got lots of moles, which I've been worried about for years. And that wasn't a one-off comment. Lots of other viewers said the scope really helped them overcome their fears too. The lesson that I learned was that if I overcome my own fears of exposing my own health concerns, and by doing it live on Periscope, then I can help others overcome their fears. I really want to use Periscope to do a series of health-related broadcasts on cancer and other heart diseases with experts in their field so that people can access the best medical advice. I'm going to ask you this, ladies and gentlemen, isn't this exactly the kind of thing that Periscope is perfect for?
Yeah. Yes.
I want to see people being inspired by Periscope to do things differently in your day-to-day life and to confront our fears. Talking about inspiration, it's not just me perhaps inspiring the people that watch me. One of my viewers has inspired me with her bravery. She's a 12-year-old girl that has cancer. occasionally periscoping from her hospital bed and using my scopes to help her get through her cancer treatment days. I would never have thought that 3 months ago I would be watching a 12-year-old being treated for cancer and then spend the next 48 hours worried about her health, worried if her breathing was okay, worried if she was laughing or not. I have learned that I can care really deeply about someone who I've never met in person. And I've learned life lessons from a 12-year-old who I wouldn't have been able to meet without Periscope. On to lesson 2, the power of community. All right, so who or what are the pyramids? This is the name that started from the very first Periscope viewers, wanting to call themselves something unique. The very act of naming themselves has made them feel all very close to each other, kind of like an extended family. And I want to talk to you a little bit about them. This extended family has their own identity, their own language, own dynamics, a family called the pyramids. They grow by a few thousand a day, and these are people that I deeply care about, people that I miss if I don't talk to, people who make me laugh. And I realized just this week that I speak to the pyramids more times a day than any member of my actual family. Just think about that. You speak to like your Periscope viewers, or you go onto Periscope and you watch other people's Periscopes maybe 4 or 5 times a day, and then you may talk to your boyfriend once a night, if that. I have got to know them like real family. I know their work routines, whether they're happy or sad today, what life has thrown at them, even their dogs' names, and just how much they hate their boss. That's what we talk about. Why does this matter? Does it matter? One example sticks really clearly in my head. There is a pyramid who has not left his home for months. A man who is morbidly obese, suffering health problems from his weight. He said to me, I didn't want to lose weight before, but now I want to lose weight for the pyramids because I want to meet my family. I talk to them every day. They inspire me to be better. They know who I really am. Here are what some of... Oh, thank you. I thought that example really helped me to explain the power of community. Here are what some of the other pyramids are saying about being part of the pyramid family. What did I learn? I learned that the power of community can be a tremendous motivational force. And just because you start out as strangers doesn't mean that you can't change each other's lives. From strangers to family, all because of Periscope. Lesson 3 is about giving back and what Periscope can do for charity. I want to tell you the story of a little girl called Poppy. When I first started Periscoping, somebody asked me, what's that picture of that young girl that you have on your laptop screen? Because you know what Periscope viewers are like. They're nosy, they notice everything behind you, in front of you. And you know, it's just embarrassing sometimes when you've just got clothes or underwear or here and there, and it's just like, oh gosh. But you get over that after a few weeks. Days. I'm going to take a few minutes to share this girl's story and how Periscope can actually change her life and the lives of many others like her. Poppy was an 11-year-old girl living by the railway tracks at Dhaka's busiest train station. Dhaka being this urban sprawl, the capital of the most densely populated country on the planet, Bangladesh. That's where I met Poppy. I'd spent these long hours walking on the railway tracks, saying hello to the forgotten children of Dhaka. And this was the area that NGOs deemed too unsafe to visit. And that's precisely why I was there. In a city of over 10 million people, where no one says hello, how are you? Are you okay? Poppy was, of course, a little hesitant to talk to me. I asked her what she did for money. She said she was a sex worker. I asked her how much money she made. She said 50 taka a day. That's 60 cents per day. I asked her what she spent her money on. She looked at me puzzled as if to say, I should have known that answer. Bread, she said, that's all I can afford and I do need to eat. In my opinion, an 11-year-old girl who has sex for money 4 or 5 times a day to buy bread is not a sex worker. She is a victim of sexual abuse. She's an 11-year-old being raped every day. I said to Poppy, will you stop if I pay you 50 taka a day? If I pay you 60 cents a day, will you stop having sex with these men? I'm not stupid, she said. Of course I would stop. She told me that sometimes the men didn't pay her, sometimes they beat her instead. One man got so annoyed when she asked for payment that he got 2 hot metal rods, placed them on her face, here, and burnt her, scarring her for life. Her friends, all very cute little girls, aged between 10 and 12, and all of them sex workers. Some of them with bodies like 6-year-olds, no shoes on their feet, wearing dresses covered in dirt and dust. But, and I can remember this very, very clearly, with the eyes of an adult. So imagine seeing children with the eyes of an adult. And those eyes had seen everything that life could possibly have shown them, and things that they could never unsee. It was one of the most emotional broadcasts I've ever done. After 30 minutes of hearing Poppy's story, everyone on that Periscope, including myself, was in tears. The viewers asked if I could scope my next journey to Bangladesh. And in the 5 years I've been working with these kids, I've never felt such an immediate response or felt so moved by other people's reactions in that scope. And I thought to myself, oh my God, I love Periscope. These people on my scope right now really, really do care. And these street children don't have a voice, but using Periscope, I have learned that I can actually connect these children directly to thousands of well-wishers all around the world, and people who really want to help them. And one comment from a viewer that stuck with me, she said, I've been donating to charities my entire life, but I never thought that I could actually meet the children I am trying to help. We launched the campaign recently, and in 24 hours, we raised thousands of dollars in the first 24 hours, and every single day we're seeing more and more donations because everyone on that scope knows where the money's going, and they're going to meet the children and feel involved in their lives. In the meanwhile, the pyramids have pledged funds for this Children of Taka campaign under the Scope for Good and One Wish banner. And Scope for Good was an initiative set up by myself and my friend AJ Joshi. The idea is to bring Periscopers together for a greater purpose. And together, we've got the ability to draw immediate attention to a situation or a cause that might need our help. I firmly believe, and I think we're going to start seeing this, you're really going to see this, that Periscope's going to become the leading platform for charitable causes. Because people want to understand, A, the issues live, B, they want to see the fundraising effort, they want to feel part of the community, they want to share their stories of raising money together, and C, they want to see where and how the money's being spent, and they want to meet the people that they're helping. Another Scope for Good campaign is supporting this young man. Oh, that's not there. That's the campaign. So this is the onewish.org/Taka. Another Scope for Good campaign is supporting the young 18-year-old Callum Fairhurst. And that is him there. He's decided to cycle the entire globe for charity, and he is periscoping the entire journey. Do you not think that is incredible to do that? And why is he doing that? He's doing that because he made a promise to his brother, who died at the age of 14 from cancer. And he said to his brother, he said, you know, promise me one thing, you lead a really great life, and promise me you help others. His brother raised, before he died, $11 million. $11 million. Scope for Good, we are helping this young man to try and match that. He started his journey 8 weeks ago from Australia. He's cycled through many countries already. He's in Malaysia right now. That's a screenshot from one of his periscopes. He's periscoping from the Scope for Good account. And I think, you know, just seeing his journey and being able to even be along that journey in every single city for me is inspiring. Looking ahead, Scope for Good will be flying to Nepal. So that's, you can see there, that is Liam and Callum. Looking ahead, Scope for Good will be flying to Nepal soon to periscope the updates in the rebuilding of those communities that were devastated by Nepal's recent earthquake. And so far, our partners on the ground, the CG Foundation, has built over 1,000 new homes and plans to build a further 9,000. Now, why show the rebuild live on Periscope? I think it's fair to say that, you know, I come from the television news industry. The television news, due to time constraints, will always focus more on the disaster and less on the recovery. But here, we can see what happened to the Nepalese people after that earthquake and really keep them in the forefront of our mind. Aside from charity, the Nepal earthquake was my first realization of how Periscope is changing the way we see news, and that brings me on to my fourth lesson. There is no doubt in my mind that news will never be the same again, and Periscope has made sure of that. I've been in the news business for 15 years. Some of you will have seen me on the BBC or ITV. No technology has had this kind of effect on broadcasters, audiences, and journalists alike. I was live on a scope when I heard the news of the second Nepal earthquake. It was from a scoper in Nepal who used the Scope for Good hashtag in its title. My viewer said, I can't believe I'm seeing this live and hearing this news live first on Periscope. The story has not even hit TV. And Periscope allows you to make and shape the news. So let's talk about the biggest news story Periscope is impacting right now. The war on Syria. So the war on Syria has been raging for 4 years. And I think it's fair to say that in kind of recent weeks, the footage and the images have shocked the world into action. And on Periscope, I saw the most incredible things, which I have not, I saw it on TV later, edited, etc., packaged. But on Periscope, I saw live attempts to cross the Hungary and Turkey border. And in other scopes, hundreds of people camped outside the German borders, men, women, and children. And when you see live video of how people are being treated and what they have to go through, it fundamentally changes your attitudes towards refugees and educates you. I've managed to ask the refugees questions directly, and I've got an immediate answer. What can possibly top that for a news source? With Periscope, we really are able to get inside the Syrian refugee story. One reporter on Periscope said there was lots of critical comments, and I've spoken about this before, and it's quite interesting if you haven't heard this. Some of the comments on the scope were like, oh, why do all refugees have smartphones? Why are refugees wearing sunglasses? Oh yeah. And what was absolutely brilliant was the refugees could reply straight away. And the guy was like, this is a €2 sunglass. It's like $1.50, $2. And I really need my smartphone because I need to communicate with my family and other refugees. These guys are carrying nothing with them. No house, no car, just the clothes on their back and what they can physically carry. Congratulations to Periscope, for you are now a breaking news platform. After just a few months, joining Twitter. And I want to say that because I feel that. I really feel inside that as a journalist, you think, okay, I want to check Twitter, I want to get the breaking news. I now check Periscope. I want to see who's there, who's scoping, who are you talking to, what can I see live on the ground, unfiltered. Before I leave this topic, I've got to mention a more sinister use of Periscope. just to bring the tone down a little. Just last month, 2 men drove to confront another man with a loaded gun, and they broadcast the entire experience live on Periscope. They never found the man they wanted to harm, and Sacramento police have since arrested the 2 armed men in what could have been a deadly encounter. A viewer watching the hour-long scope sent the Periscope link to a local TV station. What was it that disturbed me the most about this heinous act? Was it that the 2 armed men decided to Periscope their hunt to shoot someone? Or was it that their viewers egged them on, liking the broadcast with tons and tons of hearts and posting gun emojis? If I had been alerted to that scope, I would have watched, and I would have called the police straight away in real time. At one point, when a viewer asks to prove to the gunman, "Oh, prove that gun is real. Prove that gun that you're holding is real," one of the men appears to fire from the passenger seat of a moving vehicle. Did anyone call the police during that live broadcast? What do you think? No. It's shocking. Can you even believe that I have to ask you that question, and the answer is no? The police, however, were alerted the next day, resulting in an arrest. This highly disturbing broadcast, isolated for now, comes after that story of a gunman in Virginia killing a reporter and a cameraman on live television, and then of course posting that video on Facebook. If what we see on Periscope doesn't shock us, what we read really can. That leads me on to my final lesson. What do you call one of these guys? And which one are you? So they look cute to you. Okay, they're cute. Periscope trolls are not the cute trolls. Just remember that. These guys are kind of okay, kind of acceptable. Like in the 1980s. For those of you who do not know what a troll is, let me explain. A troll is a person that only makes negative, abusive comments on social media. The first comment that I can remember from a troll was, are you ready for this, guys? Oh yeah, you're ready. Are you thirsty for it? You, open box. I was like, what? I read it back once, twice, maybe another time. I looked really confused. And it actually took me a few seconds. And I remember this clearly, and it will never, until the day I die, I will remember this story. It took me a few seconds to figure out that there was a missing O in the word box. So I'm learning lots about open bobs, etc. The first lesson about not these cute ones, but the Periscope trolls, is many trolls cannot spell. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm passionate about the troll issue. Passionate about banning them from a platform I adore. Passionate about not letting them roam around, hiding in anonymity. For someone who's worked on television for a long time, I've grown a thick skin. I've had it all thrown at me, from prejudice to racism to sexually insulting comments, and I do it with a smile, I'm telling you, even violent death threats. From my experience, Periscope takes this to a whole new level. I will guess that men do not get this level of abuse from Periscope, but I do, and only because I'm a woman. That's a bit sad. Thousands of other women who are brave enough to Periscope, to broadcast on Periscope, also report the same problem. The BBC news report that some of you may have seen, the BBC News reported last month that I blocked over 3,000 trolls in their news report. Don't know what I'm smiling about there. A month later, just a month later, that figure's doubled, and I've now blocked over 6,000 trolls. And counting. And those are the ones that I can catch. You know what I mean? They're fast, those trolls. Quick in and out, leave you for 5 minutes, go back in again. And it's the same. I'm like, you know, it's like a battle. And I like it. It's a battle zone every day. 5 times a day on Periscope. Why have I taken a stance and why am I highlighting this negative issue of trolls? It's certainly not just for me. Rather, it's for the 19-year-old girl that said to me, I've scoped once, and I will never scope again. And I thought, oh no, that's sad. I said, why? She said, I thought I was confident until I did my first broadcast on Periscope. I need to see more women on Periscope. Hallelujah. I want to see that. I want to see more. In my scopes, I basically regularly, with the help of the Perriman family, spend the first few minutes of every scope, and you know we all do this, trying to block as many trolls as possible, blocking out that negativity of these hideous people. It's not what all female broadcasters do. Some choose to ignore the comments completely with no blocking, or they just block the trolls quietly. There's no right or wrong answer. For me though, I've chosen to tackle them head on. Young women have told me that they feel more confident when they've seen how I deal with the trolls, and they imitate that. The lesson I've learned is that people will always say bad things, but if we directly tackle them as a group, we can stand up to online bullies and force them out of Periscope. Essentially, I know, Kathy, I am almost out of time, but I have a few very random, very personal reflections that I wanted to share with you. I am now, I know, this is going to sound bizarre, I'm now very used to odd looks that I receive at restaurants or airports or anywhere in public, where I get out my mini tripod, very cute, and my phone, and I start basically what seems to be a conversation with myself. And I'm so comfortable. I'm like, hello, it's Periscope, you know? So that's quite funny. Another really funny fact is that I ran out of my monthly data allowance in less than 3 days when I first started Periscope. Yeah, thank goodness for unlimited data. Yeah, thank God. I mean, I needed to upgrade. I now carry not 1, not 2, but 3 battery packs. 3! Small, medium, and large. You know what I mean? Different colours, so you can find them at the bottom of your handbag. Tragic news this one, guys. I stopped watching Netflix. Let alone TV. DVDs, that 2-hour thing, have no chance. Cinema, a luxury. And finally, thank you, Periscope realised you could do landscape. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings me to the end of our journey for now. Live broadcasting on mobiles is definitely the missing link between television and social media, and I, for one, cannot wait to see how it unfolds. And whatever Periscope means to you, you are one of the Periscope community. And so you have a real say and arguably a responsibility in how Periscope goes forward. Periscope has the power to truly change our lives. I believe that. It's a game changer. I love it, I love it, I love it. Have a great summit. Thank you.